Hello everyone, I'm meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 10 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I've got news out of Greenville where a Charlotte woman is now behind bars facing multiple cocaine charges. She's facing a $2 million bond for drug trafficking. 36-year-old Gabrielle Goodson was arrested by Greenville police yesterday afternoon. Warrants say Goodson was found with 400 grams or more of cocaine and drug paraphernalia. She was charged with the following: 2 counts of trafficking in cocaine, maintaining a vehicle, dwelling, or place for controlled substances, possession with intent to sell or distribute cocaine, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Now Goodson is in the Pitt County Jail waiting for her first court appearance coming up later on this afternoon. Now we want to turn to the latest in the fighting in the Middle East now between Syria as well as Israel, as the fighting and violence occurring within Syria has threatened Syria's post-war political transition and again has brought further military intervention from outside sources, i.e. Israel, into Syria. NBC's Matt Bradley has more from Tel Aviv.
Well, that fragile ceasefire that appeared to take hold last night in the southwestern part of Syria still appears to be holding more than 12 hours later. Now, this looks like, if it continues to hold, it diffused a potentially very volatile situation that could have wrapped in other actors throughout the region. But now it looks as though the guns have, for the moment, fallen silent. Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, last night said that he had been negotiating with counterparts throughout the region and it looked as though they had contained the situation. There was one Druze leader last night who said that he had, with his forces, signed on to a ceasefire deal with the regime of Ahmed al-Shara, who unseated Bashar al-Assad late last year. But there was another rival of that Druze leader who announced that he intended to continue fighting until regime forces had been removed from southwestern Syria in the area around Sueda, where most of Syria's Druze population lives. Now, again, this was a volatile situation and one that could have gone either way, but it looks as though for the moment that it isn't going to be spreading any further, but that could change at any time since, as I mentioned, there was some disagreement amongst the Druze leadership over whether or not they would adhere to a ceasefire. Matt Bradley, NBC News, Tel Aviv.
Well, thank you very much, Matt, for that report. We now turn to your weather forecast. Today is going to be a hotter day than yesterday. Less rain showers are really the big reason why. Let's take a look at what we've got outside right now. Certainly looks intimidating through our Washington cam. Just like we may have some showers off in the distance, but right now, again, dry over really the Washington waterfront in Beaufort County. There we do have, again, a few showers and storms moving into Pender as well as southern Duplin County. Onslow County also, again, seeing a few splash and dash, little quick showers around the New River. But for the most part, again, eastern North Carolina, at least at this hour, relatively dry. Current air temperatures reading in the low to mid 80s, but it feels hotter than that. It feels like we're already at the triple-digit mark through Edenton, Oriental, and Greenville. It is going to be a hot one coming up later on this week, really tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and Sunday. All first alert weather days because of the heat we are going to see. Now today is kind of that stepping stone up to those hot temperatures. And it's one we'll get toasty, but I think we'll really start to feel that sweltering heat coming in more so tomorrow, but we could be splitting hairs there. Now later on tonight, we are going to watch a weak boundary work its way into the east, coming in from the northwest. We'll provide just a quick little shot of rain showers to the late evening hours. I think by the time we get to around 8, 9, and 10 p.m., we'll start to see that boundary approach, moving out of the east as we head towards midnight and beyond. Coming up for tomorrow morning, again, starting out sunny and warm. 77 degrees at 7, turns to 82 by 9, 88 by 11, already into the low 90s by lunchtime. And that opens the door for the mid-90s in the afternoon. We'll have a decent chance of some rain showers coming up for your Friday, but I think rain chances will only go up through the weekend, specifically coming in Saturday evening and then again Sunday evening. The area of low pressure that we've been keeping an eye on along the Gulf Coast, that is still being tracked by the National Hurricane Center. You can kind of see it hanging out around Louisiana over the next 48 hours has a low chance, a 30% chance of tropical formation. So that's something, again, that we're actually seeing decrease with tropical potential. But we do have, again, another cold front that will set up just to our north. The problem is it's going to be a very weak passage of that front. So we're not anticipating any sort of big push of cooler and drier air that would result in, well, lower humidity. But alas, here is what we've got. Again, looking at very hot days as we head through the weekend, and rain chances will accompany those high temperatures, anticipating those overnight lows staying elevated through the heat, and it's that heat humidity combo that's going to make this weekend dangerous. That's all we have time for today's 10 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful Thursday.
This hour of the WITN First Alert Desk is sponsored by ENC Pirate Realty.